This is my 2020 718 GT4. Today I'm going to talk about the ownership experience, what it's like to drive, a little bit about the car itself, and also a little bit about my spec. So when I was first buying this car, I was actually looking more towards a V8 R8 manual. And then about a month before I made the decision of what I'm buying, I ended up going with this because with an R8 I would have got, maybe a 2014 car which doesn't have a warranty. And obviously those cars are pretty expensive to maintain. And pretty much everything I know about Porsche, they're super reliable. You're not really going to have any issues. You just got to do your regular maintenance. You might have spent a little bit while you're doing the maintenance, but it's not too bad. So I bought this car and it's a 2020, so I got pretty much a full warranty with it. I bought it with very low kilometers. So far it's been reliable. I've only put about 1,500 kilometers on it, but it doesn't really need much. It's very easy to drive, very easy to live with. So it's, I can't ask really for a better experience for my first, I want to say kind of more high-end sports car. And yeah, I mean, this is a very comfortable car at the same time being a very raw car. The whole sound of this car, the whole feel is very mechanical. The only thing is, obviously a lot of people talk about this, the sound of the car is not that great. I don't know if I'm going to put an exhaust. I might end up doing an exhaust at some point. However, I don't really want to be obnoxious and kind of get in trouble for it. The other thing with this car is obviously the very long gearing. I mean, second gear just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. I mean, that was 130 kilometers an hour and just changed to the third. So you don't get to do as much shifting as you'd like, but honestly, it's not a deal breaker. I still really like this car. And the really nice thing about this is it's a mid-engine car, very, very, very light. The handling in this car is unlike any other car I've ever driven. You can kind of shove it into corners at whatever speed. You're not going to lose traction. You're not going to understeer. It's just nothing but grip. And right now I'm doing this on winter tires. So I can't imagine what this thing's going to be like in the summer once I put the summers on. But yeah, I mean, this car it's on paper, it's not really a crazy car. You're not going to think it's anything out of the ordinary. Just over 400 horsepower, mid-engine, 4-liter 6-cylinder, derived from the 992 911, just no turbos and then a little bit bigger. Yeah, I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's really too fast in a straight line. It feels a lot faster than it is, but it's more about the feel and the handling. The reason I bought this car, I wanted a 2-seater car that feels more special. With 4-seater, you kind of feel like you're in a normal car. I'm not driving this every day. I want, when I get into it, I want it to be like an event. And this is exactly what it is. And I actually found my perfect spec. So I got the carbon fiber seats, which were a deal breaker. If I don't get the carbon fiber seats, I was not going to buy the car. I have the fire extinguisher in the car, kind of all the red accents, the red line on the wheel, red seat belts. A huge plus for me is the sports chrono package in white, along with the regular dials in white. Apple CarPlay. The car literally has everything in the interior in carbon fiber. Shifter, the whole trim, absolutely everything is carbon fiber. It doesn't have navigation, which is not a big deal. I have CarPlay. I have the Bose sound system, which is a big plus. And yeah, I mean, this build is a pretty expensive build. The starting price on these here in Canada is about $114,000. This specific build, I believe, came up to $138,000. So the only thing it's really missing is I have the regular PDLS, but I don't have the PDLS Plus, and I don't have the carbon ceramic brakes. Other than that, I pretty much have everything. The only option I didn't really like that I have on the car is the black door handles. I wish they were body color, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So overall, I'm actually really, really liking the driving experience of this car. It's a very confident, inspiring car. Never had a close call with it, never got a little bit scared. My last car was a Mustang, V8 rear-wheel drive. Obviously, you're going to have some close calls if you push it hard. This is a lot easier to drive at the same time as being a lot more rewarding. You feel like you're driving something a lot more special. So when you drive it kind of, in an exciting manner, you're gonna feel a lot more special and a lot happier with it. So the nice thing with this car is it's not always kind of an obnoxious car or kind of a high-key car. If you're just driving it normally throughout the city, you don't really want people to look at you. You turn the exhaust on quiet, and honestly, you can't hear anything. When you're under 4,000 RPM, it sounds like a normal car. People don't really hear it. They don't even turn around for it. and most people don't really know what this is, so you don't get too much attention in this car, whereas like in the Lambo or even in the R8 you get quite a lot of attention. But when you want to push it, you just downshift a little bit. Once you pass 4,000 RPM, it gets pretty loud and pretty mechanical. I mean, it doesn't sound like a modern car. It just sounds very raw. There's like a whining noise to it. It's something very satisfying. But when you turn it down, you know, upshift to 5th, turn off the exhaust, and it sounds like a normal car. My Volvo would sound the same way. So overall, I think this is one of the better cars to buy as your kind of starter high-end car, because you kind of get the full experience of a mid-engine car. I wouldn't say supercar, but that whole layout of a car with mid-engine rear drive. You even get a manual transmission, so you're not really going to lose much money on a car like this, because they're kind of cars like this are going extinct. There's not a lot of mid-engine manual cars left. It's a Porsche, so it's going to stay reliable, and also it's going to hold its value. I mean, I think I could put as many kilometers on this as I want. I think even at 50, 60, 70,000 kilometers in 5, 6, 7 years, this thing could still be worth 70 grand. And if they stop the manuals, it's going to be worth more than that. Anything kind of in this category is very desirable, and there's not a lot of them on the market right now, especially because of COVID. The kind of supply for cars went way down and the demand is way up. So when I bought this car, I think there was 6 or 7 on Auto Trader, and I checked yesterday, there's only 3 on Auto Trader, and 2 of them are still from back then, and they even went up in price. So they're very hard cars to get. So at least for now, the value is going to stay very, very high. But I think also long term, it's not going to be a car that's ever going to be worth 20, 30,000. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of my experience so far with the 718 GT4. I haven't driven it enough to really know long term ownership experiences and costs and all that. I've been only driving it really for 2 weeks. I've owned it for 2 months, but I didn't really drive it in January and February. So I'll definitely make a video maybe after my first service, kind of talking about what it cost me, how the maintenance is, how often you got to service it, any major issues that you got to deal with the car. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys next time.